A second Republican senator has come out swinging at the US President Donald Trump, attacking him as reckless, undignified and a liar. Jeff Flake's comments come on the heels of another attack by Republican Bob Corker, whose own public feud with the president has dominated the airwaves in the US. Both men say they won't seek re-election. Donald Trump has previously attacked Jeff Flake as toxic and today said Senator Corker couldn't get elected as a dog catcher in his state of Tennessee. Ann Barker reports.
The extraordinary attacks came on a day when Donald Trump was preparing to meet Republican senators to try to build a consensus on tax reform. Instead, any possibility of a tax deal was derailed when not one but two Republicans lashed out at the president's leadership. In a blistering attack, Senator Jeff Flake said he could no longer be complicit or silent about the president's behaviour.
Reckless, outrageous and undignified behaviour has become excused and countenanced as telling it like it is, when it is actually just reckless, outrageous, and undignified. And when such behavior emanates from the top of our government, it is something else. It is dangerous to a democracy.
In a 17-minute speech from the Senate floor, Jeff Flake announced his retirement, saying that to stay would force him to compromise too many of his principles.
We must never meekly accept the daily sundering of our country. The personal attacks, the threats against principles, freedoms and institution, the flagrant disregard for truth and decency, the reckless provocations, most often for the pettiest and most personal reasons having nothing whatsoever to do with the fortunes of the people that we have been elected to serve.
As if those comments weren't enough, they came after another controversial Republican Senator, Bob Corker, also gave the president a public tongue-lashing.
You know, it's a sad place from my perspective for our nation, and I think that the worst of it is going to be just the whole debasing, if you will, of our nation. I think that'll be the contribution that hurts our nation most.
You think the president's debasing the nation?
I don't think there's any question.
It was Bob Corker who early this month warned President Trump's reckless behaviour could put the US on the path to World War III. Now it's the Republican Party that seems to be at war.
Look, I expressed concerns a few weeks ago about his leadership and just his stability and the lack of desire to be competent on issues and understand, and nothing has changed.
The public row between Bob Corker and Donald Trump is nothing new, but the president took to Twitter to hit back, describing him as a lightweight who couldn't get re-elected.
Bob Corker, who helped President O give us the bad Iran deal and couldn't get elected dog catcher in Tennessee, is now fighting tax cuts.
He tweeted,
Senator Corker is the incompetent head of the Foreign Relations Committee, and look how poorly the US has done. He doesn't have a clue.
The president's comments were backed up by White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
I think that we support the American people on this one. I think that the people both in Tennessee and Arizona supported this president, and I don't think that the numbers are in the favor of either of those two senators in their states, and so I think that this is probably the right decision.
Other Republicans, though, while staying out of the feud, have praised Jeff Flake's term as a senator, among them Mitch McConnell, who's had his own rumblings with Donald Trump.
We've just witnessed a speech from a very fine man, a man who clearly brings high principles to the office every day and does what he believes is in the best interest of Arizona and the country.
And Maverick Senator John McCain, who's never been afraid to speak out against the president.
It's been one of the great honors of my life to have the opportunity to serve with a man of integrity, of honor, and decency, and commitment to not only Arizona, but the United States of America. I have seen Jeff Flake stand up for what he believes in, knowing full well that there would be a political price to pay.
This latest public spat casts further doubt that the president will ever get his tax reform through the Senate, where Republicans have the slimmest of majorities, 52 to 48. The proposed tax cuts aren't the only issue taxing the minds of Republicans. They've launched an inquiry into the purchase by a Russian firm several years ago of a company that owned 20% of US uranium supplies. Some Republicans have claimed that Hillary Clinton's State Department approved the deal, though media reports claim she took no part in the decision. Lawmakers say they want to know if the deal was properly investigated by the FBI before it was approved.
Anne Barker reporting.